Good day, fellow teachers. Hope you're all doing well. My name is Eden Rose Holcroft, and today we're going to be talking about the principles of inclusive education within your classroom. Very well. So what I will be covering today is the ways to create a classroom that accommodates all learners, no matter what disabilities they might have or anything that might be different from any other students, or just how to include all of them into your classroom and help them feel more included. So first of all, we're going to be covering universal design for learning, differentiated instruction, culturally responsive teaching. Then what we will be covering as well is collaborative teaching, building inclusive learning communities, and accessible learning materials. So now I'm just going to go through all of these and give a little bit more information on what is expected and what each one means and what needs to be covered through those. Very well. Okay, let's start with universal design for learning. So universal design for learning, which is also known as UDL, is to create a flexible environment in which you accommodate individual learning differences. For example, you use different ways to represent your lessons, or you engage the learners in different ways and expression with diverse learners. So when it comes to the UDL, you basically make sure you have flexible environment to help. For example, if you have a student that has a wheelchair, make sure you have enough space in your classroom for them to be able to move freely and not feel like they're obstructing anyone, or that they can just feel more free to come into class and go out of class, all of those things. Next, we have differentiated instruction. Differentiated instruction is to use different teaching methods to convey the material to different learners. Now, for example, you can base your teaching on the learner's environment, interests, and stuff like that to make it more personal for the students. You can also, for example, if you have a student with ADHD, maybe make it a bit more interesting for them to help capture their attention so they do not wander around or their mind stays focused, and also give them breaks in between to help them stay focused and not interrupt the rest of the class, but also not feel like they are being left out. Very well. Next, we have culturally responsive teaching. This means you include all learners' cultural references in all your aspects of your learning. So when you come into your classroom and give a class, you use culturally relevant teaching methods that respects the cultures of the students you have in your classroom. Many might have different cultures, and therefore you need to make sure you include all learners' cultures so that no one can feel excluded. Very well. Next, we have the collaborative teaching. In collaborative teaching, you collaborate between teachers and remedial teachers. For example, you plan your lessons together with other teachers and make sure to give out or give these lessons in more or less the same way, so the students still get the same learning and knowledge in the way, yes, to help them. Very well. And the last two we have is building inclusive learning communities, which you create a classroom environment where all students feel included and valued. For example, you give them group work, you encourage peer interactions so that they can feel that no one feels out and they can all work together. And lastly, we have accessible learning materials. Make sure that all your students have access to all the learning material they need in order for learning to take place. So for example, you can provide your material that they need for learning in more than one format. For example, make sure you have printed books, but also have a digital version, an audio version for those learners that might only be able to listen to the books or material, things like that. Awesome. Thank you so much for listening to me. I hope this has helped you all a little in a way to make your classrooms feel a little more inclusive for students. Thank you.